Okay, good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can someone just type in the chat if you guys can hear me? Let's see, I'm not sure why. Okay, let me go check on my phone to see if you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. Let's see, I'm not sure. All right, looks like I can hear myself. So good morning, everybody. I'm going to be doing a Futures Basics webinar today. Basically, just beginner-friendly intro to futures. If you've never traded them, even if you have, I think there's a lot of information that you could benefit from, especially if you are just constantly failing, trading futures. So I'll do some giveaways. I actually posted a, let's see what it's called. It's a gleam.io. See if I can go in and post it here. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to post it in the comments. You've already said that. What? Okay, discard. Mm-mm. Well, I retweeted it, so let's see if I can add it down here. No, it's not going to let me. All right, well, I retweeted with the link where you guys can actually enter a giveaway for a one Apex any size up to $300,000 account. And then I'll do a free 1 month to Traders Wealth Lounge premium Discord. And today I'm actually going to have AJ Trades from God, I can't even think of it. Insight Trades. Doing a little bit of a demo for the free journal that he's got. So, all right. I know it's Saturday morning and my brain is still not functioning, I suppose. Okay, let's get started. Also, I will answer any and all questions at the end. Please don't feel like there's any dumb questions because we were all once beginners, whether it was, trading options, whether it was trading equities, crypto, futures. So please, like anything that you may think of, just ask. And I'm sure if you are thinking of it, there is probably other people that are thinking it as well. So if you've been through this before, it's basically the same thing that I go over. Sometimes it takes a little while to understand, but back when I got started trading, I came from options into futures, and I've been trading futures for over 3+ years. And when I started trading futures, I didn't have anybody to explain this stuff to me. It wasn't as popular, and what really got me started is I came across a friend that traded futures, and I asked around about, how it's done, this and that, and everybody's like, oh, no, futures are not for retail traders. They are for institutional traders. They're for big boys. And that's kind of what sparked my interest. Um, and I decided to look into everything and find out that there's actually that is not the case. And to me, and to I would say 90% of traders that traded options, when they got introduced to futures, they didn't go back. There's only a small percentage of people. I think I know 4 people that went back to options. Um, and that is very, um, it's very rare for someone to go back to options. And then there are people that do both. So you can do both. It's not like it's a rocket science or anything like that. So, all right, let's get started. So basically, the purpose of this is to teach some of the fundamentals of how futures work, how you can trade them on your own account, and how you can get, funded futures accounts. Since I think a lot of people would benefit from adding futures trading to their skill set. So first of all, futures trading. So what are futures? So futures trading is a contract between a buyer looking to invest and a seller where the contract is made for the future and has an expiration date. There are 2 participants, hedgers and speculators. Hedgers protect their assets from risks, and speculators are usually floor traders. So as retail traders, we are considered speculators. Futures contracts are available in 5 different assets: equity index futures, interest rate futures, commodity futures, currency futures, metal futures, and they all have expiration dates. So NinjaTrader, Tradevate, or whatever broker you're using will automatically prompt you to roll over, as you can kind of see in this example, to roll over your expiration. So equity index futures typically expire on a 3rd Friday of every 3rd month. So E-mini S&P 500 expires quarterly, which is March, June, September, and December. Same thing for NASDAQ. If you're trading interest rate futures, then they are monthly expirations. So monthly expirations also for commodity such as oil, currency, metal futures like gold. And like I said, your broker, whatever you're trading, they're going to prompt that. So it's important to be on the correct contract. All right. So some of the key terminologies, I'm not going to go through all of this. If you guys want to follow along, you can go to propfirmtrend.com, and in the trading resources, click on that. It says Futures Trading Basics, and you can follow along with this. But basically, the key terminologies that are used in futures trading is I'm just going to do a few of these, but lot or contract, which is the unit of the instrument. So if I say I am in 5 lots of NQ, it just means I'm trading obviously 5 contracts of NASDAQ. Tick is the smallest price movement that a futures contract can make. Point is a $1 move or 1 handle. Globex is an electronic trading platform used for derivative futures and commodity contracts. However, traders also use the term Globex to mean the overnight session of the market. And margin is the amount of money required to be deposited by a trader to open a futures position. So the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. Let's see. So first off, the market is essentially futures, and we frequently discuss ES. So the S&P 500 futures are those. Although these futures are traded similarly to other derivatives, leverage is what they offer above all else. Futures trading is simply a very leveraged form of stock trading. These trade in a manner more akin to shares than options. There's no theta, there's no IV. Stop losses can be placed at precise price points. Let's see. And to contrast with futures, the E-mini S&P 500 offers roughly 32-to-1 leverage. So ES trades in ticks. Well, most futures trade in ticks, but it's in a 0.25 spread. One contract changes value by $12.50 for every 0.25 it makes or moves. So you gain or lose $50 when ES moves 1 point. So for example, if ES moves or changes by 10 points, you either win or lose $500. And then 10th of an ES is called a micro or MES. So instead of the $50 per point, it's actually $5 for each point for MES. Literally, it's simply a tenth of the same stuff. Okay. So here I'm gonna kind of just use a few of these, but like one NQ changes value by $5 per tick or $20 per point. And then the micro is 1/10, which is 50 cents per tick or $2 per point. And there are 4 ticks in each point when we're looking at ES and NQ. However, if you're trading oil, for example, CS or CL, it changes value by $10 per tick or $10 per 1 penny or 1 cent. So each penny is a tick and it's worth $10. So your profit or loss is $1,000 per point. So if you're trading oil, let's say it's a $60 and it goes from $60 to 61. So that $1 move or that one handle is actually $1,000. So there's actually 100 ticks in this 1 point. So what I see is many new traders jump straight into trading NQ or ES, thinking they're just trading futures when the risk is equivalent to trading the full index value. They don't realize trading NQ is like trading NDX. Trading ES is like trading SPX. So if you were brand new to options and your first, you had a small port, and the first thing you start to trade is SPX or NDX, we all know how that's going to end. Okay. So most traders should really be trading the micros, which is M and Q. So it's basically like trading QQQ, or they should be trading MES instead, which is like trading SPY. So it's 1/10 of the risk. Bottom line is don't trade NASDAQ when your account size says, or NQ when your account size says you should be trading MNQ. And same thing with ES. Or gold. Again, it's got a micro. It's a micro which has an M in front of it. God, I don't know what's wrong with me today, guys. I feel like my speech is just not there, huh? Alrighty. This right here is kind of a comprehensive futures contract specification. It's more like a cheat sheet. You can see different descriptions. If you're trading Russell, if you're trading Dow Jones, or if you want to trade natural gas, it will tell you the minimum tick and then how much that tick is, because as you can see, they're all different, right? And kind of like a daily move, you can kind of expect. So it's just, if you are trying to get into different types of instruments, then or assets, then this would be a good place to take a look at. Okay, so there are different ways of trading or getting funding. So I'm going to start with funding your own account with your own capital. One way is to, if you have like a traditional broker, such as TOS or Interactive Broker, is you would first request to trade futures, and they have to approve you for it. And you can trade micros, so which roughly costs about like $2,347 for an MES lot, and about $23K for one ES lot. Okay, now you want to check with your broker to see how much capital you need for these. Second way is to use a broker that specializes in futures, such as NinjaTrader or Tradovate. AMT is one of them. I believe Webull has it as well. And I think Robinhood added futures. I'm not 100% sure. I don't use Robinhood, so. But basically, instead of the $23,000 for traditional brokers, Tradovate and AMT and NinjaTrader, they offer $500 to a $1,000 day trading margin for E-mini contracts. So these are the micro contracts. Oh, sorry. These are the day trade contracts. Micro contracts are even more affordable because MES costs only $50 a day, $50 day trading margin, and MNQ is $100. So um, NinjaTrader actually owns Tradeovate, so if you can fund NinjaTrader and use the money on Tradeovate platform. You can also go and practice on that, on their STEM account for that. But basically, the distinction is that when you purchase or sell a contract, you're not purchasing ES shares. Therefore, it costs the same amount of money to buy or sell one contract, regardless of the price at which it's trading at. And margin is the term for this. So margins also do change based upon news events. So you can check with your broker, to check the margin specifications. Okay, so this right here is this is from Tradeovate, but a lot of them are very similar. So Tradeovate offers reduced margins for both the day session as well as the overnight session. And reduced intraday margin is currently available from 6 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. Eastern. And this initial margin is required from 4:45 p.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern. And if you're holding a position, throughout the close of the market. So if you're wanting to swing trade, for example, you want to swing over the weekend, then you would need this, what's on the right side, it's called initial margin. One NQ contract for initial margin is $33,000. However, if you are a day trader or a scalper, then you can easily get by with this day trade or day margin. Like I said, it's available for almost like 23 hours. So you can open up a position at 6 p.m. Eastern, and as long as you close it by 4:45 p.m. the following day, all you would need is, either $500 for ES if you're trading minis. However, if you're trading micros, then you would just need $50 for each contract of that, or $100 for MNQ. And I think an account minimum, it's about only $250 to open up a Tradeovate account. Also, there's no PDT, so you can get in and get out of your positions multiple times. So it's not just, once. I did forget something. I knew my brain is telling me. Futures market is open 23 hours a day. I think I forgot to tell you guys this one. You must close out your position by 4:59 p.m. if you're trading like funded prop accounts. Opens up at on Sundays at 6 p.m. and closes Fridays at 4:59 p.m. Also, the best times to trade are usually during the New York Stock Exchange market open, or during the European markets, which is in the middle of the night. You also need to check during the holiday, as the hours may vary. So, for example, for Labor Day weekend, New York Stock Exchange was closed, but futures was open. It opened at 6 p.m. that Sunday night, and it closed at 1 p.m. the following day. So it does not follow the same schedule as the New York Stock Exchange. Let me grab some water, guys. Sorry. All right, so third way is to trade with prop firms. And the way you would do that is you would utilize a finance partner, also known as Tradessss, Apex Trader Funding, Take Profit Trader, the Futures Desk, Top Step, My Funded Futures. I mean, there's so many. And they all vary and they're all unique in their own way. Tradessss, for example, has a 1-day pass, whereas Top Step has a 2-day minimum evaluation where you can be funded in as little as 2 days. Take Profit Trader has 5 days for an evaluation, and also some firms like Tradessss has a straight to funding, which means there is no evaluation at all. You can actually just sign up for a funded account, funded SIM account, which I would not recommend for anyone doing if you're going brand new into futures. So how does this work? You demonstrate to the prop firm that you're a successful trader. You must pay to enter the evaluation, which is a SIM. Okay. If you succeed, you will then be given a funded account to trade with, and you pay the activation fee. Um, so also note that some firms don't even have activation fees. It depends on accounts and prop firms. Okay. You keep all of the proceeds up to 25,000. This right here is from Apex, and then you keep 90% of the profit after the first 25,000 you earn, while they keep 10%. You want to also check the prop firm rules of whatever prop firm you would be utilizing, as they're not all the same. Some have like an 80%, 80-20 split. Some have you can earn 100% up to $10,000 and then 90% later. So also some people can get multiple accounts when on discount, so you can trade them at the same time. There is a trade copier you can use, and each account must pass the performance evaluation, as they are all standalone accounts. For example, Apex Trader Funding is the only one that allows 20 funded accounts, whereas most firms will only allow 5. So if you copy trade 20 accounts, um, you know, you can spread out your risk. Instead of going bigger in one account, you can spread out the risk to go in different accounts. Also, if you're brand new into futures trading, you should not try to copy trade anything, but really just focus on one account, try to pass it. And note that a lot of people really, I mean, they'll fail their first evaluation. It's not that it's hard, it's just that I think people get a little nervous, or, maybe they're still learning, not sure how to close out a trade or whatever it is. Now, is this too good to be true? Not really. Most traders fail due to lack of discipline. And this is how these companies make money. So, this is not a get rich quick scheme, whatever you want to call it. It's basically, if you can trade the chart, such as price action, you stay disciplined and manage your risk, and you become consistent, then you're going to make money. There are people all over the world, and I think you guys just saw probably on social media where Lanto made, I don't know, was it 2 million, I suppose, over the last 3 days. Um, so it's not that it's just you have to be consistent. It takes time to get there. This is not that is not a typical, for someone to make millions, but it does happen. So the worst that can happen is you lose your account evaluation fee. You do not pay back any capital. You also can take these evaluations as many times. It's not just once and that's it, but it's best to they'll give you a sim practice account, practice on it before you start taking the evaluation, so you're not wasting your time and your money. Another thing is you can trade your own funded accounts on NinjaTrader with your Apex accounts or your prop firm accounts. You would just have to sign up for a personal account and then fund it yourself. So, and in my opinion, the greatest, if you want to test it out, is either go to tradeaway.com or ninjatrader.com and play on a demo account. It's free. Or if you want to try a prop firm, then although they have tight regulations, you're essentially forced to have good habits by those rules. So this here is from Take Profit Trader, and basically why prop firm versus trading your own money. So all technology and account setup is done by them. There's no documentation or any painful account setup experiences. Simply put, most traders are undercapitalized. You level the playing field by using their accounts and not your own funds. Trading your own funds can lead to severe losses. However, if you're using a prop firm, your losses are only limited to your associated challenge fee. So if an account is $50, that's all you're going to lose, right? If it's $150, that's the most you can lose. You're not gonna, you don't need to pay back any capital or whatever. Also, during the evaluation, You do not get to keep that money, guys. I get messages all the time saying, hey, do I get to keep money in my valuation? No, it's just used for a test to see if you can get, to the next step, and then that's when you start to pull the money out. Also, lack of discipline haunts traders. So the risk management system and rules will make sure that you stay disciplined during your trades. And I'll talk about these, but let me kind of quickly go over, just going to use this right here. But most of these prop firms have similar, like let's say a 50K account, okay? Your profit goal is $3,000, and your drawdown or trailing threshold, for example, is 2,500. Most actually other firms have a threshold or a drawdown at 2,000 for a 50K account, but they're all fairly similar when it comes to the profit goal. So if you meet this profit, you pass the account as long as you don't go below your drawdown. That's, as far as the evaluation. If you are using Top Step, then, same thing, profit goal, $3,000. Maximum loss risk is 2,000. However, for example, for Top Step, they have a consistency rule in their evaluation. So if you are trying to pass an account, there's a consistency rule, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So again, same thing with take a profit trader, 50K account, $3,000, 2,000 drawdown. So as you can see, the difference is between prop firms. So take profit trader, for example, has a 5-day evaluation. However, once you get to the paid or the funded stage or the pro account, then you can actually, once you meet your threshold, withdraw the money daily. So this year's futures desk, they have one of the best static accounts. So I'll just kind of, and then this is Tradessss, which is that straight sim funded. There's no evaluation. You're basically funded. Obviously, there's discounts on this, so don't look at that. But basically, instead of going through an evaluation, if you get one of these accounts, you are funded, and anything that you make in here is what you get to keep. Okay, so obviously, as long as you're following the rules, and that's something you would need to go through and check out the rules that they have. But let me go through this, which is very important, and this is a lot of people don't understand this because they don't really look at it when they jump into trading futures. A lot of people skip the fundamentals, and that's where you start to fail. When you skip the fundamentals, you don't understand what you're doing. You're literally just using money or playing with your money for trial and error, and that's not um, you should never do that. I don't care what you're trading. Same thing if you're not going to see a pilot drive or fly an airplane without practicing first, right? So there are different types of drawdowns, and there's 3 types of drawdowns. So one is called intraday trailing. So how it works is your drawdown limit moves up with your balance and unrealized gains throughout the day, but it resets to the daily starting balance each day. So for example, a 50K account is, let's say you have a $3,000 drawdown. So your day starts 50K, your drawdown is 47,000. So let's say at 10 a.m. you make a $500 profit. You're up at 50,500. Your drawdown moves to 47,500. At 11 a.m. you make another $300. You are at 50,800. Your drawdown moves to 47,800. Now let's say at 1 p.m. you open a position with $500 unrealized, or sorry, $600 unrealized gain. And now you're at 51,400 unrealized. Your drawdown is going to move to 48,400, which trails unrealized gains. And at 2 p.m., you close out the position for $400 realized profit. Now you're sitting at 51,200 and your drawdown stays at 48,400 and it doesn't go down. So let's say at 3 p.m. you lose 400 bucks. Your balance is at 50,800. Your drawdown is still going to stay at 48,400. It's not going to go down. So your remaining drawdown is 2,400, which is that $3,000 behind the highest live trailing. So the next day, when it resets your account, your drawdown is going to be $2,400. However, if you are a scalper or if you just take base hits, because most of the time the market presents us with base hits, you would be fine using this type of an account. However, if you like to hold or like kind of sit in a position all day type of a thing, then you would not be able to probably sustain the intraday trailing unless you're really positioned correctly and get a higher balance or a higher drawdown account. So the end of day trailing is your drawdown limit only moves up based on your ending balance at the close of each trading day. So for example, same thing, 50K account, $3,000 drawdown. Your day one starts at 50,000. Your drawdown is 47,000. Your total drawdown available is 3,000. During the day, you're up at 51,500, then down to 50,800. Your drawdown is still going to stay 47,000 all day. So total drawdown available is $3,000. It's going to stay fixed all day. So day one closes, you're at 50,800. Your drawdown now updates to 47,800, which is $3,000 from that new starting balance. So your drawdown still 3,000. One of my favorite is a static drawdown. And basically your drawdown limit is fixed based on your starting account balance and it never changes. So same thing. Account starts at 50,000, drawdown is 47,000. Week one, you grow your account to 55,000, your drawdown stays at 47,000. Month one, you grow to 60,000, your drawdown is going to stay at 47,000. Month six, your account is at 75,000, your drawdown is still going to be at 47,000. So reality check is that you can lose $28,000 and then you would breach the account. So that's kind of the difference between these. The static drawdown mimics mostly if you were to put funds in your own account, $3,000, and obviously as you grow it, that you just kind of keep stacking. So okay, so here, this is just a few different firms that you can kind of look at the evaluation rules and payout rules. So like the futures desk, they've got a one-step evaluation. There's no activation fee. And they also, like I said, they have one of the best static accounts on the market. And they are more of a premium prop firm is what I call them. And then they have daily withdrawals once you're in your funded account. No cap or no maximum, $100 minimum to withdraw money. And if you're looking at like a straight to funded account, Tradessss has a straight to funded. They also have evaluation accounts. So if it takes one day to pass, and then get funded, take Profit Trader. They've got a 5-day evaluation, but withdrawals daily once you meet the threshold or the drawdown, or you don't go below your drawdown, obviously. And Apex Trader right now, they've got 1 day to pass. There's no consistency in passing, and you can have up to 20 accounts. However, once you're in the payout, they have a consistency on funded accounts, and it has to do more because they are risking giving someone 20 sim accounts where people are copy trading, which is uh, let's see. So here, if you go down, you can do the comparison, but actually what you can do here, if you're just interested in, let's say, I don't know, static accounts, it's going to bring up which firms have static accounts, or if you're just interested in end of day, it's going to do that. So you can also scroll over and let's just, I don't know, let's just click on, it doesn't matter. So if you do the full details, it'll actually have a condensed version of the some of the rules that these firms have. So you can kind of see what they've got going. You can also click on, it'll take you to their website. And that kind of goes for all of those. Here, you can actually do a multi-firm cost comparison. So let's do Top Step. Just do like this 50K account, activation fee, and then let's add Tradessss 50K. So as you can see, profit target here, it says 3,000. Profit target here is 3,000. Drawdown amounts 2,000, 2,000 for both. Include activation. You can compare to see, the final price for the same type of an account. So one is 97. The other one's 198. You can add multiple firms, whatever you're trying to compare, with the same account size, or sometimes you can even try to if you want to do a bigger account, even if you had like a 100K account, it's still cheaper than, or less expensive than Top Step 50K account. When I was talking about the consistency calculator, so what this basically means is that let's say you are trading a 50K account with, let's say with Top Step, okay? They have a 50% consistency, which means that your best day profit cannot be more than 50%. So let's say you make your best day profit is $1,700. Your overall profit is $3,000. So you need to actually only make $3,000 to pass, the account. So if you made one day $1,700, then you would be over. You would need to continue to trade, and it'll tell you like how much more you need to make to be under this 50%. But if you made 1,500, then you would be in, 1,500 one day, $1,500 the next day. You would be within that. And then, so let's kind of go over the risk setup. So what I see here, you can kind of check your mental state, how you're feeling. We all have, and everybody says, hey, leave the emotions out. The issue is that we all have emotions. We're human. But you can check to see what really ticks you off. Is it, are you vengeful? Do you get frustrated? Or are you greedy? And, go through these, whatever, to check your bias. And you will see a pattern. At some point, you're going to see a pattern. Okay, this is when I start feeling like this, I need to just like walk away, or I'm going to give my, um, profits. Okay, so this right here is probably one of the most important things. It's called the risk management calculator. And what many don't understand, like I said, when they start trading futures, they start trading the full size NQ with a small drawdown. Okay, so here it will tell you like MNQ is $2 per point, but if I'm trading NQ, it's $20 per point. So your drawdown is, let's say, 2,000, and you want to risk 2%. Okay, so typically you should be risking 2 to 3% per position. Only 5% per position is if you are, it's aggressive, but it's used for high conviction setups with strong edge. So let's say, I don't know, we'll just put in 26,000. And your stop loss is, let's just say 10 points. Most people don't use 10 points for NQ. I do. I've got a different system that I use, but it tells you you should not be going in with more than 5 contracts of MNQ. What I see, and what most of us will see, is they are using NQ and they're going with 3 or 4 contracts of NQ, literally like risking almost their whole account for one trade. If you're doing 15%, it's 15 contracts of MNQ. That's still a lot. This is account destruction zone, and 15% risk is gambling, not trading. So 5 losing trades, you're going to be down 50% of your account. 7 losing trades, your account is likely to blow up. And this is how 90% of traders blow up, is due to risk sizing. Every single time, I would, like I said, 90% of the time when I get a message from someone, they'll say, hey, I blew my account, and I'm like, okay, what size of an account did you have? And they're like, oh, it's a 50K. How much did you size in? I went with 3 NQs. Okay, so you literally risked your whole account for one position, which, it's inevitable that you're going to blow up real fast. So, and even here at 15%, it just says 1 contract. And they're going in with, 3 NQs. So it's in the Trading Psychology Lab risk setup. Let me go to this. So this right here is your trading journal suite. You can input your, it saves it locally to your drive for CSV import. But what I want to show you guys is the growth calculator. So let's just have like a starting, look at your starting balance, how much you're risking per day, your daily profit target type of thing. What I see, this is a bad ratio example, is that people will risk 3% to make 1%. So you need at least a 75% hit rate to win, okay? Now, a good ratio is if you are risking $500 to make $1,000 per day, that's 2 to 1. You only need a 33% win rate to break even. So anything above that is profit, and that's why your profits must exceed risk. So, figure out your trading style. Is your win rate 50%? Is it 40%? Is it 70%? And I'll come back to this in just a second. I did want to show you guys and trading resources. So when you start trading in the morning, or when you're trading futures, what you always want to do is go and check out the whether it's the Forex Factory or the Trading Economics calendar. Technically, you should be doing that whether you're trading options or anything really, but it's very important when you're trading futures, because some firms will not let you trade during the big news like CPI or FOMC. Others will, some won't, so you need to look at the rules. Also, we've got earnings. If you're trading NASDAQ and you are trying to trade after New York Stock Exchange closes, we have NVIDIA earnings, we've got Microsoft earnings. All of that has an impact on if you're trading NQ or S&P 500, right? Another thing is that I do is just, I go in the morning, I check bar chart, Benzinga, and then I have Financial Juice. It's a news aggregator, just delivering those market updates throughout the day. So that's a place to kind of keep up with the news, what's going on, and it will help you with your trading. If there's something big, just stay out of the market. Just sit out. It's not gonna, kill you not to trade it. Let me pull up. I actually just want to show you guys quickly. I should have done that a little bit ago, but how to execute these trades. Let's see, I don't use TradingView a whole lot, so let's do replay. Whoops, no. That's not what I wanted. Let's go back. Just want to show you guys how fast you can blow up your account or make money, but that's you need to be looking at the negative side of it. Let's say we're trading NQ, okay? That's that full position. We want to, let's see, we want to sell it. No. Okay, that moved too fast. Oh shit, it's on 7 times, that's why. Sorry guys. Let me put this back. Yeah, you can tell I don't use this. I use NinjaTrader. It's just easier for me. Well, it's easier. I'm just more used to it, I should say. Where do I pick? Let's see. Let's do it here. So each dollar that this moves, or each penny, each quarter is $5. So each tick. So 0.25, you can see on this on the right, it moves in 0.25, 0.50, 0.75. So that it's called a tick. It's the smallest price movement that NQ can make. That is $5. $1 move is $20. Why is it not taking it? I had this happen to me the other day. Okay, hold on. I gotta think. I think I need to actually change it. NQ. The continuous one. Okay, trade. Why is it not showing up here? I don't want to buy it. Trading panel. No. See now. No. Nope. I don't know. I'm not sure, guys. There was actually something the other day that I had to click up here. Maybe AJ will know when he hops on. Let's see. I would hop on NinjaTrader to show you guys, but it's a Saturday and maybe creating an order. No, because it only has buy. Yeah. Okay. Oh well. Where is my stream? This is gonna bug me. I'm gonna like try to figure it out while he's doing his thing. Hi, AJ. You can come on.
Hey.
Okay, there you are. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a quick second. So, is it
Yeah,
yours?
do you want me to just kind of go over everything and then just kind of hop in the platform, or do you want to do the intro?
Yeah. So, guys, this is my friend AJ, AJ Trades. I have posted his handle to go follow him. But he has this, it's called Inside Trades trading journal. And it's going to show you guys some of the cool features that it's got. And if you can get 30 days free trial plus 3 free starter accounts forever. So basically, you can have a trading journal for free forever. So if you go to the prop firm trend, he'll explain more about his, different things that it's got on here, but like the market prep and all of that. Are you sharing your screen or am I sharing mine? I think,
I'm sharing mine, but on page, if you're in the if you're actually in the platform, you're actually sharing yours. I think on so I think mine is actually sharing now. So yeah, so how what Mink said is like yeah, we're pretty much a trade journal platform. So the way that I started out journaling, and I kind of got away from it, was just using a notebook and trying to just note everything down that you saw that day, right? And that is super time consuming. It takes away from your life. It takes away from other parts of your day as well. So I wanted to create something that one wasn't costing, $50 to $100, especially for people that were starting out. And two is like something that people will use, even if it's free, right? There's a common notion that if something is free, people aren't going to use it. So I wanted to provide something of value that was going to, one, just get people used to trading and journaling, as well as making it easy for them to actually journal and not have to spend hours on end to go back and review things. So I'll hop into the platform, but if you guys want to go and just check out the website, you can click around. All of the screenshots on here are directly from the platform, so it's not like it's like a bait and switch where you hop in and it doesn't look anything like the photos. You can go in and it should look exactly like what the photos on the site look like. So I'll just hop in, and right off the bat, you're going to notice our dashboard. All of this gets provided by multiple platforms, right? Like whether it's a competitor of ours or whether it's within its own platform, like the prop firm that you trade with, they provide some sort of notion of like a trade calendar, how you did a day, the average loss, things like that. And the only difference is that once those accounts go away and you blow that account, all of that data goes with them, and it's very hard to recover that data in the exact same way that you're used to seeing it here. So I've been kind of active with Combine, just kind of testing out the copy trader, testing out different things. But the first thing you're going to notice is that I try to separate the combines from your funded to your live account. If you get to that point where you get payouts from your funded account and you want to start your live account, you can go ahead and do that, and you can track all of it within Insight Trades. So all of this is really basic. We do get sort of some deeper analytics here, and then you can kind of swap back between funded combines, whatever it is that you want to take a look at, um, and then you can go from there. So if I go into my analysis here, I can go down and to pick. I can pick my live account, switch over to the live, and then all of my stats from my live account are now in here, and you can kind of go through it, right? You can see what symbols that you're trading, what your win loss breakdown is, the tickers that you're actually having more success with than others. Time of day analysis and trade length analysis is really basic. It's more of like which time during the day are you kind of more successful. This really helps to see if you're in front of your screen all day and you're trying to take a trade every single minute or every single hour of the market. um, Over time, what you're going to be able to see is like, hey, I'm least profitable during that 10 a.m. mark. So I probably shouldn't be trading at all. Um, if I go into like the funded versions of this, see here, right? So the funded version is like, holy crap, like I had a big loss across like a bunch of combines at this like power hour. So maybe I don't trade power hour. Maybe I stick to the New York Open or like the regular trading open, and then I that's kind of where I trade, and I stay away from power hour, right? Because from 12 to 1 o'clock is pretty much my worst time frame. We also have different patterns, right? So when you get into journaling, and we'll cover that right now, is if you have 3 to 4 setups that you're consistently working on, whether that's a VWAP bounce, an or breakout, any custom uh, setup that you want to enter into Insight Trades, you can go ahead and do that. But you'll be able to then over time is accumulate like which ones are actually working the best, how many trades you've taken, what your win rate is, your average P&L, and then your total P&L. So going back to the dashboard, everything else you've probably seen already, very similar to what other folks provide. But we also have a different version of how we would go about journaling, right? So if you go into customize platform, we have this group partials setting. So right now, the way that you're seeing these trades is the exact same way that Tradevate, NinjaTrader, or Project X count your trades automatically, right? So for me, I am sort of a person that builds into a position. So I'll take like 2 micros, 1 micro, and then I'll have a full sort of 5 micro play, or maybe a 2 to 3 NQ play. And for me, that's one trade, right? I'm averaging into it, and then I'm scaling back out of that trade when it's going in my favor or when I hit my profit target. Now, Tradevate and no one else that I know of out there is currently doing this, but we can actually group those trades together and give you a more accurate look of one is how you're going to journal that trade, and it gives you a more accurate look of what you're going to be actually coming in here and journaling, right? So you'll see when I turn that on, the number of trades actually go down because it recognizes that, hey, AJ was buying, 2 contracts, and then scaled out of those. We're going to count that as one trade versus having like a giant mess in the system and making him journal or making him group journal a bunch of these all together. And the way to do that is I'm just going to dive into Friday. I took 7 trades, and you can see there's three fills, there's 2 fills. So I was doing this a lot of the time. Like I pretty much do that every time, especially on a live account. Is I'm going super small, and I'm building a position to then ride that back when it gets to a profit target that I initially had. So if I were to go into here, you'll be able to see my 3 fills are down here. So you could see I entered in my first NMQ, then I got 2 more, right? 1 and 1 right around the same time. And then you can see my exit times were kind of scaling out. Instead of having you go and mark this as 3 different trades, we group this as one, and then we can scroll over and log that trade. Now, when you log that trade, you can take a screenshot of whatever it is that you saw, whether that's a trading view chart, whether it's your execution chart on Project X or Tradevate, however it is that you're trading. You would just go ahead and just drop that in. I'll just drop an image in here, and then you can use your trade setup. So we have some out of the box here, but if you have a custom setup that isn't included, you can just go ahead and hit custom, and then you can type in whatever it is that you want. However it is you want to name it. And then that will be saved for you going forward as like one of your trade setups that will then move up to the top of that chain. Then you'd see the grade setup. You can see how it is that you're doing, your emotional state. I think Minx mentioned about emotional state and, understanding that we are human and that there is times where you're anxious. There are times when you're frustrated or like it's going against you and you keep moving down your stop loss. Like if that happens, it's important to like mark this down and then go through some of these pre-trade thoughts, the entry rationale, all these different things, and then go ahead and just mark that off. And then once you save that, perfect. So now you'll see that screenshot. If you want to then break it out of that group, you still journaled 3 of them together. So each one of those should have the exact same thing. If you want to look at it the other way, which is like the FIFO method that Tradevate uses. And this is sort of what builds out that pattern trading that we talked about is custom or breakout downside. Now this setup is now into your stats and you can continue to keep using that going forward. So really basic journaling, it takes away a lot of the guesswork of how to like manually write things down. The other section I'm super excited about is this market prep section. And I was messing around earlier, so my video didn't save, but if I go back to yesterday, for example, all I really did is talk through like my pre-market analysis. So what I do every day is right before the market opens, I come in here, 6:15 a.m. So I'm on the West Coast, and I go in and just quickly mark off levels, right? And mark off big levels, mark off where the Globex highs are, where the Globex lows, whatever it is that you use to trade, you can literally just call it out in a 6-minute video. And then the output, what we have on the back end is AI sort of listening and transcribing that video for you. And it's marking off everything that you're saying. So every level, and then what you call that level. So you can see my Globex highs here, my Globex low, where VWAP is, different levels that you're calling out on your chart, along with the ticker that you're speaking about. It can then just extract that data for you and put it into a nice trading plan for you, right? So I went over ES, I covered all the NQ levels, and then conditional scenarios is going to be like things that you say inside of that video of where you're looking to enter, where you're looking to exit, and then what you're looking for in the market once it actually opens. So, if NQ moves, to 25,200, then look to get short around the V1. So this is like looking at it. If it's going up, it gets past the 25,200 level, and then rejects that VWAP. I'm going to be looking for a short back down into the like moving averages, so to speak. And then there's different scenarios here. We break below, we're going to be targeting, the 50 EMA below that. And then different things that can happen on ES. I don't really trade ES, but I did see that 6,700 level on Friday was a potential sort of, dip and buy. It went way below that, but then it did kind of get back above it and then rally the rest of the day. So it takes 6 minutes to kind of create that video. It gives you a full breakdown analysis of what you said on that video, instead of like, I tend to fumble around when I'm looking at tickers. I talk about Google, I talk about Amazon, and this sort of helps me kind of keep it all on track. Kind of gives me a nice breakdown, what my bias rationale is, some key scenarios that I talked about. And then we have a live trading session, right? So now that you've set up your pre-market, you can go into your live trading session. And I traded for about 52 minutes. Again, the exact same thing. It processes what you said. It takes into account like, hey, if I entered in at 24,900, it's going to mark that off. And then you can see the trade executions. That comes when you actually enter in that data, right? So you either have to have a connection to Project X, or you can just manually upload the CSV. And then all of your trade data comes in here. So you can see like what the execution was, the symbols that you did trade, and then that live session analysis. So that 50-minute video gets broken down into key moments based off of what you said, right? So entered a small position at 50, risking 300, ended up on the session 24,000 or 2,400 gain across each one of my XFAs. And then it talks about your emotional journey, right? So I talked about missing out on a potential move. I'm cautious, anxious about, timing of entry. NQ was moving crazy. So it kind of like takes certain things that you say during that video and it marks it off as like a, how you were feeling, how you were kind of trading and like talking through the scenario as you're going through it. Um, Rule violations, this is kind of like, it just depends if you consider over trading like one of your rules. But I did mention like, I'm feeling like I'm over trading if I get in again or if I take another trade. This happened at the 25-minute mark, right? So this is 50-minute video. I mentioned over trading at 25 minutes. That means I hung around a little too long to the party, right? I mean, I ended up green, but still, it's like if you're thinking of over trading and you're calling that out at the 25-minute mark, and the video's 50 minutes, you probably should have walked away right around there. So it's just a way to kind of look back at how you performed on the day. And then you have this post-market review. This is kind of like, and this is, we should be able to customize this, but this is looking at the plan that we did on in pre-market and then the live trading, right? So like, what did you trade during the live session and what did you plan for, right? I mean, granted, M and Q should actually be mixed in with NQ, but I didn't talk about gold. So why did I take a gold trade? I don't know. The great gold looked good, I guess. But I didn't talk about it. So it's good to just understand like, hey, why did I even go to gold in the first place? So you'll see the setups that we talked about. Because I haven't journaled each one of those trades, right? Like I use the orb breakout just as an example now, but like the planned, VWAP bounds, support resistance, unless I go into the journal and mark that off, then it's just going to mark it as like not a valid setup, so to speak. Execution, and then it just kind of takes you through that same rules violation, emotional journey, and then the session debrief. So takes both the pre-market analysis, the live session analysis, and kind of gives you entire breakdown of what went well, areas for improvement, and then some key takeaways. I think this is just kind of like understanding the areas for improvement and then pushing that into the next day, or the upcoming day, so to speak. So that is the platform in a nutshell. Again, Minx will give you more information on how to sign up. Through her code, you guys will get 30 days on Pro for free. And then if you don't want to purchase it, that's totally fine. You'll always get the ability to have up to 3 account connections, right? So right now we have a starter version that everyone gets a single trading account, right? And that what that means is if I'm on a free plan, I can only bring in one account here, right? I can't bring in all of my Top Step, all of my Tradevate, all of my funded accounts. It's only one account, and then the system will lock you out from creating multiple accounts. So that's just the main thing. You get one, but with Minx, you actually get three of those account entries, and it's forever free. You do get everything on the Pro for 30 days for you to try out, bring in all of the accounts that you want, video journal as much as you want, and use a lot of this AI sort of function that we have in here to use it to your advantage, right? In the live trading session, you also have like the trade plan available to you so that you can actually, execute properly. We do have some other stuff we're working on. It's not released yet, but I can kind of quickly show you guys. The Alden AI Mentor, still a work in progress. So you guys probably wouldn't have access to this. But the goal with this is as you start journaling, as you start getting a lot of the things transcribed inside of the system, what it's going to do, it's going to aggregate all of that data and sort of be your mentor, be your coach, in order for you to like understand, hey, where do I really need to improve given the last 30 days of analytics that you collected? Where is my room for improvement? Where can I get better? And then you can have a chat with him. So it has all of the data available based off of the sessions, the recordings, and you can just talk about the trades, talk about your win rate, talk about exits and entries, and it should be able to help you out, kind of pinpoint exactly what's going on. The more data that it has on you as a user, it's the better that it's going to sort of interact. But that's something that's coming. We're also working on a trade copier. The main thing I wanted to create here is a way to trade copy across Project X and Tradevate. Still working on the Tradevate, but I've personally been using Project X API to then copy trade across, my leader account, which is a XFA, uh, copy trading two XFAs and copy trading two Tradefy Lightning funded accounts. And the feedback I've gotten, is the latency is actually super quick. Once we move to like a dedicated server, I was seeing more of those instantaneous buy orders across all the Project X platforms. I plan on adding a couple more Project X firms to just see how it does across multiple, more than 4 or 5 different Project X accounts, and then see what that latency is. Once I get it to a place where it's on par with things that are already on market or better than things that are on market, I'm going to release this to everyone. So hopefully everyone kind of sticks around and can get this sort of as part of their plan. Cool. That does it for me. Unless you have questions, Minx, on like anything that you had interest, like maybe I didn't cover it, or people on the call would be interested to understand.
No, you did a great job. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions for either of us? Let me see. Sometimes it takes like a little bit for it to show up on here. There's like a 10 to 15-second delay.
All good.
Let's see. Also, guys, don't forget to click on the link from Gleam to enter to win an account. Also, if you guys go and sign up for what is going on here? So if you go to profitfromtrend.com and go in and sign up for the InsightTradesai, I'll pick one person to get a 1 month for free premium in Traders Wealth Lounge. Also, AJ's in there, so you guys can ask him questions if you have any questions, but it's free, so looks like nobody has any questions. There's like a 1,000 views. AJ, did you post this on your Twitter page?
I did, yeah. I retweeted it, and yeah. I mean, I don't have a ton of followers here, but sure, some of them showed up.
Okay. Well, I don't see any questions, so.
Cool. People are too busy,
Alrighty.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's Saturday too, so.
Cool.
Alrighty. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Have a
Yeah.
good day.